Hi, I'm Sean Walker from iTrain Hockey. Today we're going to be doing a remote coaching video for Ronin Walji. So Ronin Walji is 7 years old. He's a house league hockey player from Brampton. Really good kid. I've trained with him actually a few times personally. And what we're going to focus on is just the shot that he submitted. So he took a wrist shot and he did it off the ice. And I'm going to respond to that video and just talk about what he can do to improve his skills in his wrist shot. Okay, the first thing that I want Ronin to focus on, when he took his shot, he was already set up into position 2. When we take a wrist shot, we have position number 1 where we set up, position 2 where we wind up, position 3 where we transfer our weight onto our front leg, and then position 4 where we follow through. When Ronin took his shot, he was already in position 2, which is fine, and he was shooting off a synthetic ice board, which was sort of to the side here. If this was his top right-hand corner of that synthetic ice board, we can actually place the puck right in that top right-hand corner, and that'll kind of act as position 1. On the ice, normally position 1 would be right in front of my belly button, but we can use that sort of top right-hand corner of his synthetic ice board as his position 1, and then he can get into position 2, as opposed to already being into position 2. When we do this, when he set up, his feet were really close together, and when he took his shot, he took like a really big giant step into the shot, and if you noticed, his front toe was actually facing this way instead of facing the net, and that actually forced him to start leaning a little bit far to the left. And then if you noticed, he had to kind of like catch himself onto his left leg. So to imitate the shot, it looked a little bit like this. And he sort of had to catch himself later onto his left leg. And so the ways that we can do that, to improve that, is 1, have that puck a little bit further in front, get into that habit of getting into position 1 in a wide stance instead of his feet so close together. We're going to get nice and wide, nice and stable. Then when you get into position 2, lean on that back leg, transfer your weight onto that leg, and then when we take the shot, instead of it being a giant step, even despite the fact that he was off of the ice, we can still kind of just sort of slip that leg forward. We don't have to pick it up too high, and our momentum when we do that can just be generated towards our target, so towards the net, and the toe can be facing that target as opposed to taking the shot and then leaning too far to the left and him having to catch himself. Okay, next thing we're going to focus on with Ronin is his follow through. So we just worked on the wind up. Now we're going to focus on his follow through. When he took the shot and it kind of, his stick almost sprang back. And one suggestion that I always suggest to players is take the shot and really stick your follow through, and imagine as if I had to like take a picture of you in that position 4, in that follow through, and then just kind of start taking notes of how your body's positioned. Yes, this looks good. My toes facing the net. My stick is pointing directly at my target. Did I hit my exact target? And if I didn't, is it because my stick was a little bit too far to the left or too far to the right? So it's really important to stick it and then just almost like do a self-examination and make sure that it looks good. Ronin, when he took a shot, he leaned on his right, and because he was leaning so far to his left, he had to catch himself on his left leg, and then he brought his stick way back here, so he wasn't really able to stick it. So it's really important, again, that we focus on the first things that we talked about, which was leaning on the left leg, driving our weight towards our target instead of too far to the left, making sure that front leg toe is facing the net, just so that it's much easier for us to actually stick that position 4. One thing that I really liked about Ronin's shot was when he was in all of his position 2, 3, and then 4, he was looking at his target the entire time. And so while he was actually following through, it was like intentional. Yes, I wanted to pick this corner, and then he ripped the shot. So really good job, Ronin. Okay, so a few more things that I want to compliment Ronin on. One, the kid's 7 years old, so his shot's like absolutely fantastic. His arms in general were just really good when he was taking his shot. So just a few more suggestions. One, when he's looking at his target and he's actually taking a shot, make sure that he sort of hit that left side, and it might have hit maybe just a little bit over a goalie's shoulder for his age, but we want to almost pick like a little bit closer to that corner. I like finding a nice spot for him as a suggestion, just sort of like right underneath that blocker, right off that left post, and then inside the net. And then the last thing is when he took a shot, even with a synthetic ice board, which he was shooting off of, we should hear a really long, loud, and really quick sweep of the shot, and that'll just help us generate some power. And you can really flex a stick and put some weight into it just to generate even more power behind a shot. I like that he was able to lift up the shot. He pointed up nice and high, and he was able to get it up nice and high. So his top hand snap, that just means that the top hand snap and his bottom hand lifted up nice and high enough to get it up and over that goalie's shoulder. So nothing to improve there. A really good shot overall as a 7-year-old player. Really fantastic. So here's a few examples of what a front leg wrist shot would look like on the ice at full speed.